So when you borrow to do road and you collect taxes in the future for everybody that is using that road to pay their own fair share. So when you see we borrow, it is part of economic plan. And you, any company or any country that will grow has to borrow, because it is part of the ecosystem of a viable nation. So when those people that are just container economics, they say they borrow, they do this, I look at them. And you will see that as much as you invite me, because sometimes you look at those people that want to engage you, and these do they really ask the right question, or do they even understand, or they are also downloading what people are downloading on WhatsApp, and and they are asking questions. So when Mr. President said we met or we are doing well in revenue, and say, hey, why are they borrowing? Is borrowing not part of the budget we submitted to National Assembly? Is it not what is approved? Are we borrowing outside what is approved? But you know, most of them, they find it difficult to just check what goes on, and thank God our people are here to do that. Now,
behind every number, there is a story, and behind every policy, there are people. Tonight, we uncover the truth behind Nigeria's rising revenues and relentless borrowing. Good day, and welcome to Inside Out News. We don't just break the news, we break them down. 3 weeks ago, President Bola Tinubu made a bold declaration. He announced that Nigeria had already met its 2025 revenue target ahead of schedule and would no longer depend on borrowing to finance the national budget. That statement was received with cautious optimism. Many Nigerians, already weighed down by the removal of fuel subsidy, rising taxes, and the skyrocketing cost of food and transportation, hoped this signal relief was finally on the horizon. But that hope has been short-lived. The chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zacch Adedeji, has now clarified that despite record revenues, the federal government will continue to borrow. His words have triggered shockwaves, with critics asking, if revenues are rising so sharply, why do we still need more loans? Adedeji defending the government's position during a media briefing at the Aso Villa in Abuja. According to him, borrowing is not a weakness but part of Nigeria's broader economic strategy. He revealed that in September 2025 alone, federal revenue collection surged to 3.64 trillion naira, a 411% rise compared to 711 billion naira in May 2023. This dramatic increase, he explained, was driven largely by non-oil taxes, higher VAT receipts, and steady oil revenues. Adedeji further argued that all national budgets contain three components: revenue, expenditure, and borrowing. He painted a simple picture. If the government plans to spend 100,000 naira in a year, expects 80,000 naira in revenue, and borrows 20,000 naira, there's no problem if at the end of the year it earns 90,000 naira and borrows only 10,000 naira. In his words, borrowing is not a problem. He described this as part of what he called the matching concept, a system where projects with benefits that stretch into the future should also be financed by future taxpayers, not just the present generation. Roads, schools, and hospitals, he argued, are examples of investments that justify borrowing. But Nigerians are asking a different question. Where is the visible impact of all this money? For the ordinary citizen, statistics of trillions collected in revenue mean little when daily life is defined by hardship. Petrol subsidy removal was supposed to improve the standard of living. Instead, transport fares have more than doubled. Food prices are out of reach for many households, and inflation continues to erode purchasing power. This contradiction between government promises and lived realities has created deep mistrust. Critics say the administration is piling debt while Nigerians are left to suffer without relief. Adedeji, however, dismissed these critics, labeling some as container economists who reduce complex physical matters to shallow social media arguments. He insists borrowing is vital for growth and stability, not a sign of failure. But the public wants answers. If revenues have truly grown by more than 400%, why hasn't welfare improved? If borrowing is normal, when will it begin to yield tangible results for the people? And most importantly, how long must Nigerians endure before the promised benefits of reform are felt? For now, the government maintains that borrowing is an unavoidable tool for long-term development, but until rising revenues and heavy loans translate into real relief for citizens, the gap between official figures and daily realities will continue to widen. Numbers don't lie, but they don't always tell the whole truth. For Nigerians, the real measure of progress is not in revenue charts or borrowing plans, but in food on the table and relief in daily living. Until then, the questions remain, and so does the suffering. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more deep analysis on Nigeria's politics. See you again in the next video. Till then, this is Inside Out News, digging beneath the headlines, bringing truth to light. Thanks for watching.